simple life. It doesn't have much. It doesn't worry him where you're going. Yeah, 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 nowhere.
And this is in mid-90s, about 1995, 96. General Electric TBX 19. Something blah blah blah. Refrigerator. It's got impact damage. It has compressor that sometimes knocks when it turns off. Doesn't mean it's a death sentence, but I think this compressor is not working 100% in this, which is rare, kind of weird because these are generally pretty reliable fridges. I had the third hinge coming for the top of this. The handles were on this side. Now they're over here because the hinges, where the hinges were mounted, were all bent because they dropped the fucking thing down there and it bent the door. It bent this solid thick metal hinge here. It does not cool well. The fridge compartment is fine. It gets down to 40 degrees, no problem. The freezer does not. The evaporator fan and the condenser fan both work. The freezer, I have it apart. The coil's not frosting properly, but it can be. I have seen just a constant door seal leak, which I think is leaking down here because of the lack of a hinge. So I do feel cold air escaping from there. And if I press it, press it up here, squeeze that together, it doesn't. I don't feel the cold air coming out of there anymore, and condensation will build up in there. So I'm going to try it again in a couple days when the hinge gets here. Worst case, I end up with a bunch of parts. I was going to use this as a second fridge because my second fridge I have now is going to be nice. It is fairly nice. It's about the same age as this, but it's a Whirlpool. It's fairly nice, decent condition, not perfect, not as nice as my kitchen fridge, but pretty close. It's about midway between this one and my kitchen fridge, condition-wise. About the same size. This is a little smaller, but not much. But I mean, this compressor I think might be at the end of its life. We'll see what happens on a mild day, because I'm going to enclose this whole area and I want a second fridge for out here, so I figured if I use this thing I won't really care because it's going to be, kind of in a workshop environment. The Whirlpool I won't really care about either, but this one's a little more already dented and, I guess broken in per se. So anyway, I'll start it up. Sometimes when you turn it off, the compressor clunks. It makes a nice start. It sounds good when it starts up. The compressor should start. Go. Hear the compressor and the condenser fan start. You can hear the evaporator fan runs. It's dirty inside. It's got a nice repair on the shelf here. We'll see what happens. It might be fine. I have that set so I can start it. It has that and everything. These are pretty common. This and this are in here just for thermal mass. I can still love that. Worst case, it's parts. These are common. I can always get another one of these. I'll save the handle, the door handles, door hinges. And both fans, both fan motors, defrost timer, defrost element. I'll test all that, but I think all that's working. The reason it was thrown out was because of a clogged defrost drain. But I think the drunk dads had a little bit too much fun on the 4th of July and took this thing and dropped it pretty hard. And I think it damaged the compressor because the compressor springs are definitely damaged because it clunks sometimes when it comes off. Let's see if it's going to do it. There it goes. Sometimes it gets loud. Worse than that, sometimes it doesn't do it at all. It's not immediately a death sentence, but I have a dehumidifier from the 60s that does that. It's done it for years. It still works. So we'll see what happens in a few days. I'm going to work on this a little more. For now, I'm just going to leave it. There's nothing more to do with it at the moment. So anyway, I'll come back to this in a few days, and when I get the hinge and a more mild day, I'll be able to test it because it's basically outside right now. And I'll see how it does. I mean, I've tested other refrigerators out here in this temperature, and it's not the best thing, but they do eventually work. We'll let this thing sit for a while. I'll see how it does. There will be another video of this guy, regardless of if it works or not. If it doesn't, it's not a big deal. I really like these particular refrigerators, but it's not the end of the world. If it does work, cool. Anyway, thanks for watching.
Happy the man. He leads a simple life. It doesn't have much. It It doesn't worry him where you're going.